Like mankind, the beasts have power and the ability to act. They have light and knowledge. In fact, as we noted previously, all intelligent beings must have power and intelligence to act for itself, or there is no existence. All intelligent beings, the animals, vegetation, and the earth itself have moral agency, have received commandments from God, and have the choice to obey them or not. That all intelligent beings have power, knowledge, agency, and the ability to act can only mean that they must also have faith. Power comes only through faith. Faith always precedes action. Joseph Smith explained that faith is an inherent characteristic of all intelligent beings. In other words, animals, vegetation, and planets, such as the earth, must first exercise faith before they can act, and before they can attain the power to do so. To deny that animals have faith, as Joseph might say, is to deny the Lord's explanation that animals have knowledge and the power to act. As we shall see in a future episode, the four beasts of Revelation were given great power over the earth and mankind, a power that could only be exercised through faith. In his explanation of the four beasts, the Lord made the point that the spirit and physical bodies of both man and beast were likenesses of each other. This means that the form and appearance of the physical bodies of both men and beasts resembled their spirits and vice versa. We know from the Book of Mormon that the spirit body of Jesus Christ, as seen by the brother of Jared, was in the likeness of the physical body he would later have in mortality. The Savior is using the archetype of the four beasts to teach the doctrine of the correspondence in appearance between the spirit and physical bodies of man and beast. The archetype of the four beasts, in turn, is derived from the four plasma streamers from Venus at one point in the development of the polar configuration. Earlier in Chapter 4, the plasma streamers of Venus were used to represent spirits, 7 in number. The 7 streamers, one of the many phases of Venus within the polar configuration, were the 7 spirits of God. At the same time, the plasma jets represented the 24 elders and the 4 beasts in their physical appearance. The streamers simultaneously represented both spirits and physical bodies. The Savior drew upon this symbolic duality to make his analogy about the exact correspondence in appearance between spiritual and physical bodies. In his explanation of the four beasts in answer to Joseph Smith's question, the Lord stated that the four beasts represented classes of beings. Since there were 4 beasts, this would mean there are 4 classes of beings, at least in the symbolic sense. Throughout the scriptures, when the animal kingdom is represented in general terms, this pattern of 4 classes of beasts is always followed. In the creation account of Genesis, animals are divided into 4 separate categories: fish of the sea, fowl of the air, cattle, and creeping things. The creation accounts of Moses and Abraham in the Pearl of Great Price follow the same pattern. In the Abraham account, when Adam is given dominion over the earth and all living things, the pattern is somewhat different. While the four classes are maintained, following the planetary archetype, creeping things and beasts are combined into one class, with Adam making the fourth class of animal. This follows the tetramorph of John, where one of the beasts had the face of a man. The beasts that entered into Noah's ark to replenish the earth after the flood were also divided into four classes. In this case, the fish of the sea are replaced by the addition of cattle along with the beasts. When the Jaredites prepared for their voyage to the Promised Land, like Noah, they brought animal life with them in their barges. The account in Ether divides the animal cargo into four types, again following the mythic archetype. In this case, the bee replaced the creeping things of Genesis. The Apostle Peter was given a remarkable vision to persuade him to accept the Gentiles into the church. He saw a great sheet descend from heaven with various kinds of animals. The vision used the familiar archetype of the four classes of beasts. Like previous uses of the archetype, the structure of four categories was maintained, but there was a variation in the type of beasts within the structure. In the case of this vision, instead of fish, Peter saw wild beasts. Peter's vision is a more explicit version of the original planetary archetype. The vessel or sheet knit at the four corners is a symbolic representation of the sacred enclosure of the gods. The four plasma streamers of Venus divide the sacred enclosure into four sections, representing the domains of each class of animal. The four streamers represent the four corners, which intersect the circular enclosure and are thus tied or knitted. As would be expected, John uses the same mythic pattern later in his Apocalypse. Instead of differentiating the four classes of beasts by type, he does so by sphere or province. There are creatures in heaven, on earth, under the earth, and in the sea.